but it's 6:16. Southeast Texas. Once again, we're going to do another little adventure. I've got company this morning. Paulie Long Guy is here. We're rolling to pick up the boys and girls, and we're gonna go out northwest Montgomery County, Texas. Get some clips for you all. Should be interesting.
On this ride, Paul and I left Northampton. We rolled into the woodlands. We had a bit of extra time, so we did a bit of an extra loop. Once we picked up the group, we headed down on Honea-Egypt Road through the neighborhood. That's all on film. It was a very spirited ride. We got through Keenan, Springbranch, lots of action into Gary. And by the time we got out near Dobbins, we stopped the filming. We continued. Laura had to come back. She had a prior engagement. We went through Dacus, Johnson Road, through the forest. In the forest, I went ahead and dropped off the pace. These guys were attacking too much. I just wasn't feeling it. So I rode in to Montgomery, picked up Paul. Then we went back, took the long way. We went through Springbranch area and backtracked. We were originally supposed to just take 2854. So we ended up doing a lot more kilometers. That was one of the reasons I backed off, because some of the guys will come on the ride and just to do a few intervals, but they don't do the whole route. So they end up ruining your ride if you continue to go with those intense efforts when that's not your original plan. So I think you will love the clips we put together for you.
We're in Nigeria. For how long? 10 days. Nice.
We're at the Alden Village Center
Let's enjoy this cool
in the Woodlands, Texas.
All right.
You see the sun is just coming up. 6:33 Central Standard Time. Or is it daylight? I believe it's daylight time. It's Central Daylight Time.
What's up, my brother?
And the sun is just coming up. So the days are shorter. The sun used to rise about 6 a.m. maybe 2 weeks or so ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. And now it's coming up 30 minutes later, and then the evening is setting earlier. So we're rolling out. We leave early to beat the heat. This is very hot. It's supposed to taper off over the next week or so. We're going to be in the low 90s, upper 80s. For us, that's a reprieve versus high 90s and low hundreds that we've had over the last 3 weeks. It makes a big difference leaving early, so we're back. Maybe usually about 11:30 with the stops and everything. We do about 80 miles usually. 4 hour. Our rides are usually about 4 hours, 75, 80 miles. This one is about 80 miles. I ended up doing a lot more. I did about 110 miles, 178 kilometers that you see on the route at the top. That's the total ride. So you have to adjust your effort based on what you're planning on doing. There are a couple of things that happen on this ride that I don't know if it happens in your ride, but in any social group, you have a few. If you have a few people speaking a language that no one else understands, of course it's intentional, because I don't understand the purpose, especially since they can speak the language everyone understands, which is English here anyway. So to intentionally speak a different language, knowing only 2 or 3 people understand your buddies, and then you all laughing and this and that.
Good, my brother, good.
I didn't care for that. You know, it's kind of, it's just really downright rude. So we have a few guys that will come in and speak Spanish amongst themselves. Then later in the ride, want to ask you a question in English. So we just ignore them at that point. Because whatever it is you were talking about in Spanish, continue to talk in Spanish. Because you acted like we weren't there. So I didn't care for that. We had a visit, let's see, I wouldn't call it a visit. There's a guy on the right in a white. It was Yusuf. He's been all over the world, globetrotting. So it was nice to see him. He hadn't been on the ride in more than a year. So he was telling us about his escapades. We're on Research Forest Boulevard. I'm up front right now sitting on Kimberly's wheel. Kimberly had done a triathlon in Germany she was telling us about. So when we turned on this road, she just started to go really fast. So I just sat on her wheel. You know, we're talking before we turned on the road, and it went from like 16 miles an hour to what you see now, 23, 24, you know, on one turn. So I'm just sitting on her wheel, and we're rolling out because this is a fairly fast warm-up. The group has gotten faster, and which is fine, but there are a couple of issues that we'll have to address on a case-by-case basis. We have certain riders that come to the ride, and you see the group here, 2 lines. We're still close to the white line. They would sit next to that white line on the left, and in most cases, that's a yellow line, because they use a yellow line on the road when you got two-way traffic, because that basically divides the traffic. On a road like this, that's a boulevard, they're going to use a white line because the lanes are going in the same direction. But regardless, if the group is by the white line, do what the group does. We got 1 or 2 riders that would sit over by the yellow line on a 2-lane highway and basically obscure the ability of the other road users to see around us, to judge when they can pass. And it's clear that they're it's like an outlier kind of thing. They're out of place because you got a group by the white line in strict formation. Then you got one guy dangling over there, kind of like a stray hair after a haircut, you know. And they know that. And so we had some drivers drive by and curse at the person, but they're with the group, so they're basically cursing out, like, get the expletive out of the middle of the road, you know. and that's not cool for anyone. That's not what we want. We don't go out there to create adversaries. We need to share the road. And so I will be addressing it at the next start of the ride for those who are there, because these guys are not, first of all, they're not downloading the route, so I know they're not reading anything I post, but I'm going to let them know, if you're not going to do what the group is doing, you're not welcome. Ride by yourself. Let's see how it works when you're the only cyclist on the road sitting by the yellow line. Let's see how that works. Motorcyclists don't even sit there. It just looks dumb and inconsiderate. I don't have patience for that kind of foolishness. It's not necessary. We're all adults. I ride my bike a lot. I don't have any problems from the other road users because I'm always cognizant of what's going on. They're moving around, going when you go into the store in your car. You don't want anybody unnecessarily delaying you. It's not necessary. So it will be addressed because I'm not looking for the largest number of cyclists to come to this ride. I'm looking for the creme de la creme of cyclists to come to this ride. People who know how to carry themselves. I think this is where Kimberly pulls off, and then I continue up the road up there. I just stayed at the front. I ended up, I pulled until we got to Honea-Egypt. I continued, and you'll see when I pull off, I think. Just to kind of get the group going, because it wasn't going to get any cooler today. So we wanted to get it done. And the reason I mention those things is in your group, you need to watch the little issues and deal with them, because if you don't deal with them, they continue until there's a problem. So you got to nip it in the bud by addressing it promptly, and then making sure that when you see after addressing it and someone tries to do it, you let them know you can't do that here. You want to do that, then go ahead and ride off by yourself. Then you can do that, because you're not going to make all of us look bad. That's why a lot of riders come on the channel here and they say, oh, that's why I ride alone and so forth. So there are a lot of riders don't do group rides for different reasons, and that's fine. But I'm not going to let people show up and ruin my ride. You want to ride with us, you conform. You stay with the group. Do what the group does when you're with the group. When you're by yourself, you can do whatever you want. You want to look what I call dumb sitting in the middle of the road for no reason, that's fine. There's a reason motorcyclists use the right portion of the road where the car tires right. It's the best spot to be in because you're not next to oncoming traffic. You have room. You have what I call an area of neutrality, almost like an easement, kinda. You have a buffer, and it just makes sense that you ride there. But to just be hanging out in the middle of the road when your compatriots are hugging the right side of the lane, you look like you're trying to make a statement, and it's not a popular one. And nobody really wants to say anything. I can kind of tell, because we have a lot of riders that do that, and every now and then, it gets annoying. He's like, "What are you doing out there?" But these guys act like the guys who are doing it on our ride. They're Spanish speakers that behave like they don't understand English. They understand English very well. They choose to ignore certain things, and that's what we're not going to put up with. That's the same nonsense. They come on the ride and they're telling each other to attack in Spanish like we don't know what they're doing. You don't need to tell somebody to attack. Let them just go and do whatever. But if you're going to say attack in English. Everybody else speaks English. What's the point of the three of you speaking Spanish throughout the ride, then having a private laugh, but you're in the middle of our group? So you're going to be doing that. You don't need to come to the ride. Go ride by yourself. The three of you can form your own group. You don't need our group. And that's what I mean when I say they don't come to ride with you. They come to put on a show. I don't have time for that. Go to a USCF race. Put on your show there. This is a group ride. So in our ride, what we do is we ride together, meaning if the group is doing 23, 24, whatever, you get up there and you do your part. You do your part, you pull off, you get back in the line so that everybody gets a chance to get some kind of a rhythm. But to wait for every little hill to do a full-blown sprint to the point where you're looking back to see, okay, who did I drop or who has dropped and all that kind of crap. Nobody's got time for that. And what it does, it discourages people from coming to join the ride. I've already gotten numerous messages directly from people who would no longer come to the ride because the rumor is, oh, this ride is too fast. But what I tell them is, if you show up, I'll find you a group. I'll find you someone to ride with. Because if you don't show up, there's nothing for me to address. If I get enough people that want to form a group B or a group C, that's fine. But they don't show up. But then they send you messages complaining. So I told them, show up and we'll deal with it. I'll ride with you. I get enough of a workout. I ride hard by myself. I don't need to come to the group to do that. These guys that come to the group to do that just want to show off. And most of the time, a lot of times they end up doing that crap and getting dropped themselves because they went too hard and somebody else counterattacked. So what's the point of that? We have certain riders in the area like Jerry. Jerry would do his intervals off the back of the group. He would let the group go, let the group have a gap. Then he would do his interval and catch the back of the group and just stay at the back. So he still gets to ride with the group and he does not disrupt what the group is doing. That's somebody who's thinking about riding with you. And the people who are behaving otherwise just basically acting like you don't matter. I don't have time for that. I told Paul, we talked about it. I said, next time, we'll just let them go. When they do the intervals, just let them go. We don't change our pace. After a while, maybe they're slow, they might get the message. So this is a road I'm talking about here, for example. We're on a road like this. And somebody was sitting by the yellow line while the group was where you see Frank is right here. I mean, for miles on end. And then when people say car back, they act like they're deaf. And the reason people are saying car back is because car back, get your butt in the line so the car can easily go around. I don't want them behind me for miles on end. Then you say car back, nobody moves. you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes we say car back like where Kenny is. If you say car back, Doug will slow down, Doug on the right, and leave a gap for Kenny to get in the line so the car can go around. No, these guys are special to be right by the yellow line, just sitting there with no intention of getting out of the way. That's just being inconsiderate to the other users of the road. It's not closed for us. So when it's quiet, nothing coming, fine. But when somebody says car back, get your butt over. You know, it's like, yeah, we can ride two abreast on this road, but we don't because we want to make sure. Look at this hill. It's hard to see around us. So if you to the right, the driver can gauge to see when they can execute their pass safely. That's what it's about. So Kenny's pulling over to the left so he doesn't have to brake. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about are riders that just plant themselves next to the yellow line. You see, I just pulled off. I'm not going to go any further to the left than I need to. All I'm doing is I'm going to look down for a gap to get back in the line. You see me looking over. I'm looking to see when the line opens. I really like this jersey I'm wearing. This is by a company called Pedal Mafia. You guys put in the comments if you want me to review that jersey. It has blown my mind. I finally tried Pedal Mafia and I'm sold. People used to tell me about it. And look how it fits. It fits like a Euro kit. That's how I like my kit to fit. My pockets are loaded, you can't even tell. And I can't even feel the contents because it's right up the middle of my back. And whatever that big muscle is to the left of your spine, it sits right on that muscle. You don't feel it. Look how the jersey fits. I ended up downsizing with Pedal Mafia because their jersey, their medium fits like the Rafa, well, actually better than the Rafa large. So if you want a review of that jersey, let me know. If I see a lot of interest, I'll review the jersey because I did not intend to. I used my own funds to get it, but I love it. Everything about it is very breathable. You put it on, you forget that it's there. And that's what I was looking for. I did a lot of volume this week, so I had really good legs. I don't understand why my legs went on empty in the forest, but I think it had a lot to do with, I had to fast on Friday. I don't know if that was the only reason, but it just took like maybe 3 to 5 minutes for me to feel like myself again in the forest. But I always try to analyze why I was feeling great early in the ride, and because all along until we got to the forest, I was fine. And when we got a little bit on Dacus, I felt like I'm reaching a. You know how when you're digging, I feel like I was digging a little bit. I'm doing this because I don't want to brake. I'm descending faster than everybody. I'm not even pedaling, as you can see. So I did that so I wouldn't have to brake because it takes a lot of energy to brake and then get back up to speed. So I don't want to waste my energy on anything like that. So I'm going to get, and this is watch what Paulie Longa does here. He knows why I'm doing that. So he's going to leave a gap behind this guy, Yusuf, on the right, because he knows that's where I was, and I'm going to look down and just slip in there because he knows why I went to the left. Those are the things, this is the reason I do these videos. These are the things you need to pick up on so that when you go to a group ride, regardless of how many you've been doing, the experienced rider would know that you know your stuff. Because if you were behind an experienced rider and you hadn't done a lot of group rides and they went to the left to avoid braking, all you have to do is hold your position and leave enough room for them to slip back in. They would look at you like, yeah, this rider knows their stuff. That's why we do this. And then you would be more comfortable knowing that, oh, okay, this is why this happens. That's what these videos are about. So these videos are to help you. And some people locally complain, oh, well, you're saying something that is a little disparaging to the other rider. And that's why I tell the people on the channel is it's not about the rider, it's about what the rider did. If I feel like you shouldn't follow that, it is my responsibility to say, okay, don't copy that. Even if I'm on film doing something, I'm going to say, oh, don't do. You know how to make commercials and say, don't try this at home or whatever, or professional rider, do not attempt. That's what I mean. You have to qualify what people are seeing. and don't make it seem like it's the norm when it's not. Now, you see how we are now, one line? A car coming around can see. Look how the camera is showing. That's what I'm talking about. So you see when Yusuf moved to the left, how it blocks the view? That's what I'm talking about. This is the reason we like to do single file on these roads. It's for the visibility of the other road users so they can make better decisions on when to pass, especially in a group with a long line of cyclists. They need more room. They need more time to get around you guys safely. So if we're spread out across the road, it's not kind of cool. We'll take the right lane on a boulevard where there are two lanes going in the same direction. We'll take the right lane. But all these kind of roads, we don't need the whole road. We just take what we need. So I hope this kind of helps you guys. You just have to. We want to not have enemies when we get on the road. We don't want people hating us. We don't come from some planet Cyclone to come and ride. We're right here. We're riding around our neighbors. And we need them to understand that. We're from right here. That's why when I'm riding, people do stupid stuff in cars. I don't flip anybody off. That might be your next door neighbor. It's not cool. Plus, if you do that, what kind of response are you going to get? It's going to be a negative response. So why do things that will give you a negative response? People make mistakes. So if they make a mistake, just be thankful that it didn't injure you or whatever, and don't let it ruin your ride. And just, count to however many numbers you need to get yourself under control. Because you can only control what you do, not what others do. So I don't antagonize other people when I'm out and about. It's not necessary. So Kenny's trying to avoid this rough pavement. That's why he's over there. I just stay on there. I've got my tires at about 90, 95 PSI. So I'm riding Veloflex tires on these wheels. They are so comfortable. They feel almost like sew-ups. They're so comfortable. So let me know what you think about that jersey, but you got to check out Pedal Mafia. They ought to pay me for this, but they make good stuff. This is the stuff that everybody else is ignoring. I mean, a lot of our jerseys fit well, but the waist, you probably know what I mean. The waist is not quite hugging you. That's not the case with that jersey. A lot of the pros in the UCI, that's the way that jerseys fit. You don't need stuff moving. It can cause chafing. And I just fell in love with the fit. This is their, what they call their men's PMCC jersey. That's what they call it. And I got it for the fit. And so we're working with them to try to get them to make us a kit. They only do the kit in what they call their core line, but the fit is the same as this. Just the fabrics are a little different. But the breathability here is unparalleled. I just loved it. I didn't have to do too much unzipping. There were parts of the ride where I think my zipper, I moved it down a little bit and I didn't lock it. And it loosened all the way and the jersey was flapping. And I still wasn't aware of it. That's how nice it feels and how well it fits your body. There's the pirate. She's been pulling the whole time. The Purple Queen.
Good job.
Loretta from California. Mike Barreras is traveling this day. He's probably en route as we're riding. He's going back to San Diego. So we missed him on the ride. But he'll be back next week to ride with us. And Abby went back to West Africa, to Nigeria, to spend 10 days hanging out on that side of the world. So Laura is going to be running his local rides. So in solidarity, I plan to attend the rides that she's hosting. I'll have the routes on my head unit just in case she's not familiar. You can tell by my body language I'm feeling good. Everything felt right. I'm spinning more. When my engine is tuned, I spin more. When you're tired, sometimes you don't want to spin. There's a guy at the corner with the truck at the gate, and he doesn't know the code. I think he's a workman. So I'm going to go in there and open it for him. That guy's going through the exit gate. I don't like to do that unless I absolutely have to. Paul's going through the exit gate as well. There's no car coming, so that's cool. So I'm going to open the gate. They'll wait right. They'll slow down a little bit and we'll catch back up.
That gate goes the same place as the other one.
Huh?
That gate goes the same place as the other one.
We're on the open road in northwest Montgomery County, Texas. We're in the Grand Lake Estates. We're heading towards Keenan, Texas. I've already gotten through the gate at this point. That's the guy that was sitting at the gate. He was gonna call. It takes a while to call somebody for them to let you in, whatever. So we didn't need to get through. So he thanked me for opening the gate. I basically shielded my hand as I entered the code. Because, you know, as I said before, we have cyclists that live in here, so we got privy to that, but we don't disclose it. Most of the time they leave the gate open anyway. You will see today when we get to the backside, the gate will be open. And there are a lot of people in the group that were not happy that the gate was open. They were looking for that break because I heard, oh, it's open. I heard them groan, oh, it's open. This is Yusuf. He hadn't been on the rides in a long time. Yusuf's one of those riders that needs to work on what the French call souplesse. So hopefully he'll get some coaching, I guess. You know, to get coaching, you have to realize you've got an issue there. We all can work on stuff. I'm always working on stuff. And because of what happened is I had to have like a medical exam. I guess, I don't know if it's an exam. Yeah, exam for insurance. So I needed to fast yesterday on Friday. So I couldn't eat until like almost noon. And that's different for my body because I eat every 4 hours. And whether it affected me or not, it was not significant because after that, you know, I had a nice lunch, then a very nice dinner with the family. So I figured I'd be fine. So, but right here in this point, you will see me, I will drift to the back because I'm cognizant of what happened on Friday with my nutrition. So I'm going to take a gel when normally I don't. I was just trying to make sure I was topped off. You know, that's the kind of stuff you gotta look at. So I'm gonna take a gel in a little bit. I will drift to the back, then come back around because Doug's gonna ask me if everything's okay. And I say, yeah, I'm just eating. So I tried to make sure I added more than I would normally do, but still, when we got into the forest, at one point I had a spot of difficulty, as we call it. Somebody jumped. I saw the intent. It was clear what the rider was going to do. I was ready to go, but my legs weren't. So when I turned the pedals, I felt empty. And so I backed off, drank some water, poured some water. I mean, you got to listen to yourself. And I'm glad I did because I finished the ride fine. So Paul and I rode in together because he was a little bothered by all the guys speaking. They're speaking a language that you don't understand. They're obviously trying to be secretive about something. That's kind of rude in a social group. Those of you who are Seinfeld fans, the character Elaine Bennis, there was an episode where she got George's dad to go to a Korean nail salon that she used to go to because she felt like they were always talking about her. And sure enough, they were, because he went there and he found out that she said, what did they say? She said that they said a disparaging remark about you. Those of you who saw that, it was funny. And then they ended up kicking her out and said, we're not going to do your nails anymore because you brought a spy. Regardless of the fact that they had been talking about her, their customer. This is where I'm fishing out my gel. Then I'm going to drift to the back. It's good. I wasn't hungry or anything. I just wanted to put more in there because I knew how yesterday had gone. Because for the whole morning I rode. That's the thing. I didn't sit on my rear. And usually Friday I don't ride that much. But I rode with Mike Barreras, and then he has a group ride called the Love Ride. And we just take it easy and we chat, So I ended up doing like maybe 4 hours on the bike, which is a long time, whether you're going slow or not. And so I'm at the back. I go ahead and take my gel. And I went to the back so I could throw the wrapper in one of the open trash cans. This is trash day in this neighborhood. The trash cans are out. And so I use one of the trash cans and just drop my wrapper in there. And I will come back around when I'm done. But I was just topping off my reserve to make sure that I would be ready, because where we're going, there's a lot of climbs. And one of my other favorite areas is a road called Johnson Road. I love that road. It's just so far from my house, I can't go there that often. But everything about it, you're climbing for about maybe 3 miles. I'm done eating, so I come back to the front. I just love the way that jersey looks. Look at that. I mean, it just looks Europe. So share your experiences. Share your favorite kit that you have, that you like. I just liked everything about it. And so I started selling stuff on eBay that I hadn't been wearing because I didn't like the fit. And I'm going to start trading them off and getting more of the PMCC stuff. I don't know if I mentioned we're getting a kit. We got them the designer kit already. We're going to order a kit from them for the VH Veloharmony. So I got a lot of local people that listen to this ride. I had a customer that came to the shop and he said he enjoyed my commentary. So just like you guys, they like the commentary. I think the commentary makes the ride because you get to understand what's happening and what the little nuances are. So that way, when you go and do a ride, nobody can tell you the wrong thing, because now you know, okay, this is why this person's doing that or whatever. Like, you remember earlier on, somebody had been told that they should never coast in a group ride. I don't know how that's possible, but that's such bad advice. At any level, it's just the wrong advice to give anybody. It's hard here. We're riding up this climb. So Laura and her bike are black on this ride. So all you see are legs. And Laura's got this kind of wheels where you'll be following her and the road goes up and the wheel starts pulling away from you like it's a diesel. You know, you just feel it pulling away from you. You're like, and you got to put more power, you know, in the pedals. So it's kind of funny when you're following her, all you see are legs and then the wheel starts pulling away. It's kind of like following Mo. When I'm following Mo, it's like when he's going harder, you can't really tell because nothing changes, but you just feel that wheel. You're like, I gotta work harder to stay on this wheel. Just smooth, and they're both easy to follow because you can get close because they're not squirrely. You know what I mean? It's hard to follow a rider who's all over. In a while, I'm going to get behind this guy in the blue and white, and I end up telling him, hey, man, stop overlapping. What he's doing is he's overlapping the wheels in front of him, and then he's overreacting when they come back. So my thing is, then don't overlap. Then you have no reaction that you need to use, you know, and it startles the rider behind you. So he's doing a lot of sudden movements laterally because he overlaps a lot. So he just needs to work on that. I think it'll come with experience. Because overlapping puts you at risk. You're not protecting your wheel if you're constantly overlapping. This road, this section here is gradual. It says 1%. Then it gets to a little road on the right that's called Linda's Place. I'm not sure what Linda did to get her own road called Linda's Place, but I digress. When we hit Linda's Place, the road kicks up. You will see somebody will go harder at the front, whoever's pulling. And you know, we do what we can to stay in the wheels. And we end up pulling away. And I think I hear this guy, because right here, this Linda's Place on the right, it kicks up. You see it says 3.94%. somebody turned the screw right there. And so we're going harder. Look at the watts, 400 and something. And that levels off. It doesn't stay steep very long, but when you've already been on the drag from back there, that whole stretch, right there. He said mechanical, my chain. He was trying to shift or something. That's a lot of expenditure of energy right there. You pay for that. Because he had to sprint back to Laura's wheel. I'm not sure what's wrong with his chain, but I think he put a lot of load on it when he shifted, because I heard the sound. I heard him exclaim, but I didn't turn around, because that's one thing you don't want to do when you're riding. To turn your head requires that you ensure your front wheel is clear. And I was too tight in the line to bother turning around. You don't want to do that. Like if you hear a noise and somebody crashes behind you, don't turn around, because you might have your own crash. Wait till it's clear and you do a U-turn to go look. So after we descend this hill, they're gonna find out that the gate is open now. I hear somebody say, "Oh, it's open." So I probably, I wore white socks on this. The next time I'm gonna do orange socks to go with the jersey. I even got an orange helmet. Probably too much orange on that combo. But I like to do white or maybe do black. But I like the way the white looks. As your legs move, you're more visible on the road. They're forcing the pace. You can tell by my body language I'm putting power to the pedal. You have 400 some watts. So I rode well. It's just that I had this one bad patch. And that can happen. That's why you must always listen to yourself and know when to go. And that's another reason why you don't want to be riding hard all the time. It's not good for you to ride hard all the time. Most of your riding should be low intensity. I'm talking 75, 80%. And when you go hard, then the quality is there. Soft pedaling because they slow down again. That's all the more reason why you don't want to be expending too much energy on every acceleration, because some riders, they will ride above their heads and then maybe 10 seconds later have to slow down. So if you go too deep on each of those, then you pay the price later. So you got to really temper your efforts and save it for when it's really necessary to hang on with a group that you want to stay with, let's say. I drift to the left so I'm not braking. I'm going to end up, as I explained earlier, Paulie Longa knows, so he's going to leave a gap for me. But I will still look before I get. See me look down? I'm actually looking for a wheel. I'm looking to make sure there's no wheel near my back wheel when I slide back over. I don't assume that the gap is there. I verify. This is where this guy is making me uncomfortable, because he's overlapping Laura's wheel, and when Laura drifts to not brake, he's not leaving the gap that I just talked about that Paul leaves, and that's what's happening. So when he overlaps, when she tries to come back, he's there. Then he reacts. So it makes me nervous. This is where my jersey opened, and I didn't even notice it because it still fits well, and the breeze felt good. I'm like, I ended up zipping it back up when we get to Keenan-Cutoff, but that's because I didn't lock the zipper. I left the zipper up, I guess. All these little accelerations. You can see the watts jumping 150, then boom, 4 something. That's why it's a different discipline. I think it's a harder style of riding. I guess that's why I love it. That's Doug's shot. And there's Roy. And then behind Roy, that's Erwin. Erwin has his own little style, almost like Clement Champoussin. When Erwin's going hard, he bobs his head up and down like he's bobbing to get apples out of a barrel full of water or something. Everybody's got their own little style. Laura gets like the pirate. She gets really low. And then Mo, he just folds himself over the bike completely the way he disappears and you're searching for a draft. Mo melts into his bike. Mo is in Italy. We've missed him around here. But he's posting on Strava. We see his activities. So my schedule has finally settled down over the last month, you know, and I'm able to ride consistently. My wife drops the girls off at school when they miss their bus and stuff, you know. Some of the stuff I used to have to deal with when my wife was going across town in the mornings. So it's kind of nice being able to just get up and go for a spin and then start my day. And, you know, you can't let it disturb you. This time of year, I have more flexibility anyway because hopefully the fall is coming in. It's not super hot to where I can go out later, but it's hard to control the latter part of your day. I like to get it in ahead of time, get it in early. So this is where I'm aware that this jersey is completely loose. I don't need it being completely loose, so I'm gonna zip up. I will probably get out of camera because I will sit up and make sure no one's around me as I zip up. Those are my Zip 101 wheels that I found on eBay. That's the way your bike should sound. You should just hear your tires. Any noise means something's wrong. Deal with it. Get it addressed. If you can't do it yourself, take it to the shop. Let them diagnose it. A lot of noises on bicycles are hard to diagnose, and a lot of mechanics don't like dealing with that necessarily. But find a mechanic that wants to challenge, so to speak. That's not trying to sell you a new bike. We have a lot of that around. They want to tell you your bike's too old. Buy a new one. Newer bikes have their own problems. I'm behind Paul. I'm zipping up my jersey. That's Doug. That's Frank on the right in the blue with an orange Aubert. There's a car coming, so they stop. The car actually ended up stopping for us because it saw that half the group had crossed. This driver figured that, there's a tendency everybody wants to go together. So don't feel the need to roll with the group if it's not safe. Yeah, they got through okay, but if there's a car there, you got to use your judgment and stop. They should wait for you.
I know. It rides chain.
This is what Paul was telling me about, because I said somebody was yelling back there. I said I heard the noise, but I didn't look behind. This is after I've zipped up my jersey. It's breathable enough to where I did not need it to be that wide open. Something's wrong. He's having the same chain issue again.
He tried to shift on a chain, on a heel.
It sounded almost like the limit screw was not right, meaning it was jamming, going from small to big or whatever he was trying to do.
Rookie mistake.
So I don't know. We're looking to see what's going on.
Yeah. And the other thing he's doing is.
So the thing is that all of that stuff, if you're in the wrong gear and you're spinning too much, you can go anaerobic. If you're pushing too much, you can tighten up your muscles. So you do have to. I'm telling Paul, I said he was overlapping and it was scaring the hell out of me. I had to end up telling him, stop overlapping. So it's kind of like, you know, you can't be, how can I say, you can't ride to the point where the rider behind you is scared to be on your wheel. You have to be consistent and predictable. You have to be smooth, like you're skating, gliding, whatever. Everything needs to be smooth. The weather's nice. The temperature is 74. What's it? Let's see. Yeah, about 75 or. I was close to 75. So it says 24 Celsius, and it feels like it for a change. The air is actually cool. So this guy is out here already. He didn't ride with us, the one in front. He came out here on his own, and we just picked him up at that corner. He's one of those that were talking with his buddies in Spanish. So not only do they not start a ride with you, they don't plan on finishing it. They want to come and disrupt. And so I told Paul, I said, next time we'll just let them go and turn another way. If we have to. I don't have time for that foolishness. That's what it is. If you're not coming to do the ride, go do your intervals by yourself. Well, who are you trying to impress with intervals? So we have a lot of riders that just ride bikes. They don't understand our sport. They're not cyclists. They're people that just ride bikes. And that's okay too, but those of you who know what you're doing, you don't need to be bothered by them. It's the same thing when you drive your car. You have to coexist with those who don't take driving seriously. This is a nice little grade at 3.6%, and we're pushing here. And my heart rate is not 105 beats per minute, so there must be some interference. See me grabbing the belt there? I'm moving the heart rate belt. There must be some interference. There is no way it's 105. It's at least 150. I can tell by my breathing where my heart rate should be. And those belts, if they move while you're riding, you get a wrong reading. Or if you go under like power lines and stuff, whatever can affect the signals, you can get the wrong reading when it transmits to the head unit. It says 86 beats per minute. No way. It's about 140 to 150. So I don't pay attention to it that much because I know where I am. You should be able to tell by your breathing or your perceived effort. I adjusted the belt again. There's several reasons why your jersey should fit you like this. If you wanted to carry a third bottle and you had all your pockets full, you can easily place that third bottle behind the neck of your jersey when it fits you well. Otherwise, the bottle slips down your back whenever it gets a chance. But with a jersey like this, that's not going to happen. And secondly, if the jersey fits you like second skin, no wind resistance. Anything flapping, there's resistance. Now, granted, if you've been sitting on the couch for a year and you got some extra little padding, these are not the jerseys you want to start out with. Wait till you get in shape. Doesn't mean you throw these jerseys away, because once you're in shape, then you gravitate towards them. So you can have more of a club fit jersey for when you're out of shape, or maybe for the winter when you're wearing more stuff. You could do that. So you have that option. We're approaching the FM 149. We're on Keenan-Cutoff Boulevard. We're probably about maybe 3 kilometers, I would say. No more than a mile and a half or 2 miles from the turnoff. We're going to be turning on 149 going north for about a mile, and then we turn left on Springbranch Road. This is a good road for cycling as well. It has a nice shoulder. And right now it's not busy, so we're using the road. But most of the time when I ride here, I'm on the shoulder. The shoulder's clean enough. Might be somebody walking, I think. Yep. So we're going to be turning right about 500 meters. I look left. It's clear because it said clear, but you need to look because you're not just looking for you. You're looking for you and the people behind you. We turn and someone speeds up. So I'm just sitting and spinning. I'm gonna get on. I think I'm gonna get on the side. I get off the road because this road, the traffic, the speed's high. The cars are infrequent, but they're moving. And sometimes you get little groups. And people like to travel on the highway in little groups. I don't. I like to be by myself in my car. I don't like to follow people I don't know. How much I had to go around me or back off. Because then you have to react to their mistakes if you're hanging around them. So we're going to come back on the road in a little bit and we're going to turn left. This is Kenny. Kenny is in the Sun and Ski kit. I stand. I don't waste a lot of energy here. A lot of guys want to go hard here. The problem is we're going to be turning a little bit, and so I'm not going to waste my energy. I'm just kind of rolling the bike here. Whenever you're riding with a group, where possible, try to get an idea of what the course is or where you're going generally, so you kind of know what's to come. Then you'll know when to go hard, when to take it easy. I know we're going to turn. I'm not going to waste energy over there. I'm going to save it for that hill. That's about probably 5 kilometers down the road. About 3 miles. We turn here. There are cars behind us. We already told them we're turning. And then I waved and thanked the driver as we turn. That's what you want to do. It's not, these people are not your enemies. They're your neighbors. They're your fellow Americans. There's another group here that have a mechanical on the left. We know these guys. That's the Shama group. That's Mo rides with them. Mo's out of town. From this point, they're doing the same route we're doing. We end up seeing them at the first stop for us. Right before we left, they showed up. So somebody had a mechanical over there. I really don't like having mechanicals on group rides. Not that there's ever a good time to have a mechanical. And mechanical, I mean, it's probably a flat. Most of those guys keep their bikes ready. saw Kenny wave that guy in. That's the one who likes to sit by the yellow line. He's one of them. You see how the visibility is better from here? If we're all in a line, it helps the other people see when to go by. Plus, we just look organized. You're all over the road. The people are not sure. They're not comfortable coming by because they think you're a bunch of crazies. Look at my legs. You can see that I'm pulling up. Because I save the quads for explosive efforts. I don't want to break. That's why I'm over there. He's asking me how many miles we're doing. I said 80 miles the whole ride. The reason I said the whole ride, because most of them don't do the whole ride. He was one of those chatting in Spanish. He was laughing at one of his buddies, and you're going to see why in a little bit. We get to that hill, and one of them sprints up the hill and then hits the wall. So he has to sit up. He basically didn't finish the hill. So the guy in blue in front of me starts laughing at him, and then they start talking in Spanish. So if you're in this group and you're talking in a language we don't understand, then you shouldn't be here because you're not acting like you're with us. So you see how relaxed I look. I am relaxed right now because that's the way you have to be. If your bike fits you well, you're in decent condition, you should not be going hard the whole ride. There are spots of the ride where you literally can rest while you're riding, within reason. And now is not the time to be going very hard because we're actually approaching like an 8 or 9% climb in the distance. And that's what I'm interested in. I'm not going to waste any energy down here. You can see the watts are under 200. So if you can't relax during the ride, you shouldn't have to stop to rest. You should be able to rest while you're riding. So if you can't rest while you're riding, that group is too advanced for you. Keep that in mind. And you have to decide and plan your exit strategy. When do I let these guys go? Because you don't want to be pedaling squares. You don't teach your body anything when you're pedaling squares. This is just excellent filming on this. Thanks to Paul Ilonga, who is on camera. We have an international film crew. Paul is from the Republic of the Congo. I'm from Monrovia, Liberia. This is the guy who's attacking the hill now. He's gonna go nowhere. That's the guy who laughs at him. So they all start to go, that little click. I just keep riding. There's Laura on the right. We keep the pressure on. I'm doing 500 and something watts. I'm like, okay, it's good enough. I don't need to do 1,000 watts. So right there, I'm shifting from the small chainring to the big chainring. That's what I moved to the right because I knew I was gonna hesitate. And now I'm on my gear, and I go back and ride to Laura's wheel. I put it in a small chainring because I did not want to cross chain or even be close to it at the 9% point. He's laughing at Roy. That's Roy on the right, the purple bib. and the guy's laughing at him. The guy in the blue is laughing at him. Then they're speaking Spanish, and that's what I don't like. You want to talk for everybody. So we're going hard here. But the road has leveled off, so the watts are like maybe 200, 250, whatever. My heart rate belt was messing around, sliding, so that's why I was adjusting. Now the heart rate numbers are coming back up to make more sense. But I felt it sliding on me. I just pulled it up, tightened it up a little bit. I don't like them very tight. I'm spending 6+ hours on the bike. I don't want to feel that strap. So whether I'm hurting or not hurting, my form always looks the same because I never let myself get into the point where I'm pedaling squares, because I know at that point I'm not teaching my body anything productive. So you always have to know that, okay, I've been digging deep, let me back off a little bit. And sometimes that's all it takes, because once the group backs up, you can kind of go, depending on which group you're riding with. But don't let yourself blow completely, because it takes longer to come back from that, because you slow way down. Road goes back up here. So as I pedal harder, I make sure my hands are relaxed. You can see how they're just draped over I don't grab the bars. I only need to grab the bars if I stand to pull on them. If you do that, you can relax those muscles to save energy. Sometimes I wiggle my finger. I stick my little, my baby finger out, just like when you're drinking tea. You know, the royalty act of drinking tea with your finger, your pinky out. I do the same thing on the bike to ensure my brain knows to not clench, because there's a tendency to clench when you work hard, even in a gym. look how that jersey fits. That's the way it's supposed to fit. Looks like it's painted on. That's what I'm talking about. You gotta look the business. So over time, I'm gonna be revamping my wardrobe. Only these jerseys that qualify, especially for summer. It just looks right. You gotta always have an open mind. You can always learn something new. I think nobody knows it all. You can learn from anyone. Always have an open mind. Because I actually prefer the fit of this jersey to even Rafa and Asas. Just especially around that waist, because that's my issue. Is I've got a 41.5 chest, but my waist is only 34. So everything else out there, you'd be lucky if you could get anything under maybe 35.5 in the waist, unless you're getting something made for you. And that's been my problem. So the waist is always a little loose, even from the top guys that I mentioned. This is the first one that just fits. And then that band under the pockets just keeps it in place. And Paul told me, he said, yeah, it really works well with the logo on the shorts. So if you know of other manufacturers that make jerseys that fit like that, put it in the comments. Always looking for stuff. And we'll start recycling some of the other ones that don't fit so well and getting those. That's the way your kid's supposed to fit you. I don't need to be working harder than I need to. I need to be fighting to win. When you're riding in your group, see how long Frank sat up there for a while. We're doing 20, 21, whatever. And it's not so much the speed, it's the effort. So he takes a long pull. When somebody takes a long pull in your group, keep the speed the same. So that person gets a chance to slip back in, get back in the line, get a big bit to catch their breath or whatever, because they didn't fight in the wind for you. That will encourage that person to come back throughout that ride and help the group. You start attacking, several things may happen. Your group will split up. There will be a few of you off the front or whatever, but definitely I can guarantee you that person is not going to pull long again. So you're going to be stuck with no help. You do that even in a bike race. You attack the breakaway, they're not working with you anymore. When you attack, you better be ready to go by yourself. You watch the pros, that's what happens, and that's fine, that's bike racing. But when you make those moves, you better be able to sustain it. Don't make a move and expect somebody to come through. Please, they'll just sit and look at you like you're out of your mind. We're coming to the end of Springbranch Road here. We're going to be turning left.
Left turn.
I said left turn, and he looked like he was going right, like he didn't hear what I said or understand what I said, so I just went left. A lot of these guys don't look at a map. I take time to build. I ain't got time for that. You coming somewhere, you better know where you're going. Or have the number to Uber. Something. I I get on Kenny's wheel. After I turned left, Kenny came, went to the front. I just sat on his wheel. Now I'm already up here. I'm just going to stay up here. So you see why we come out here. You probably can count on one hand how many cars passed us. Probably zip. And even during the week, it's like this. Large acreage homes. People have their farms or whatever. Private area. It's not a whole lot going on. I like it. That's what you need to look for. Look for quiet roads. You don't need to compete with cars because you can't get a workout anyway. I'm looking left as they come by. I'm going to slip on the back. We're in the area called Tri-Lakes. It's a subdivision. I'm sitting behind there. I'm just watching to see what's going on. I'm trying to figure out why Roy isn't up there. I think he's a little tired. He's trying to catch his breath and recover. Look at all these trees. Just beautiful. So whenever you go over those bumps that you just saw Paul go over, I bet you he unloaded his bike. You have to unload, put your weight on your pedals. You don't have to stand necessarily. Just transfer your weight. Let the bike bounce under you so you're not planted on the saddle. We're heading towards the wooden bridge. There's a wooden bridge on there. They need to update that bad boy and put a regular paved bridge there. The pieces of wood are just, it's like going over a washboard. Then they're held together by rivets. Granted, they're not sharp or anything, but they sure shake you up. So Paulie Longa is moving to the front. See that? Look at the wood. It's just, they're uneven, they're old, they're cracked.
Got a little wild there.
Yeah. I want to pull.
I saw you let the race just now, Bob. Want to sprint?
They wanted to play. Let's play.
What's cumulative?
Really?
He started so fast. That's why I just sat on it.
Really?
You know, the way she started, I was like, oh, Russ coming back from Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lady that started with us, she had just come back from Germany. She was supposed to ride back with Laura. That's why I was asking where she was, because we were almost at the stop. Laura's going to be going back after the first stop, and they were going to ride back together, but I don't know when she turned away from the group.
Put the hammer there.
We're about a couple of miles from the stop here. This is Highway 1486. We're coming up to, it's a blind corner up there. I'm going to let them know to check left.
Careful, it's a blind corner. Keep your eye left.
The cars just show up. You can't really see around that corner. Everybody's kind of just riding towards, we're going towards the store. There's a store at 105 after we get off the road that comes up in about maybe 2 kilometers, about a mile and a half up the road. We're going to turn right. It will take us to what we call Taco Corner number 2. They recently paved this road. It's very nice. There are a few cool pockets of air on this route that you come across. It's just very nice. It's a nice change. You can tell that whatever heat was sitting over the area for the first 3 weeks of August has moved on. We told them to turn right. They want to go left. You don't know where you're going. Don't go to the front. They don't look at the map, then they show up, then they want to go to the front. If you don't know where you're going, what are you doing up there? There's a dog on the left, a German Shepherd looking dog. He needs a bigger yard. A yard too small. So I don't know what you did this weekend, but this is part of what we did on Saturday. Remember, you get your K's in and keep all the doctors fired.